Hey everybody, how's it going? First of all, I just want to say thank you to anyone, look, not just anyone, but the Bamalam really did turn up on episode 1 of Prime Video's screen test. I put a video up last week asking people to show support, and you went out and did it, and honestly I was shocked that you did so much. Like, you all went, the comment section is absolutely dominated by people saying Bam Gang and Bamalam and all of that. I am so thankful and a little bit embarrassed. I didn't think you guys were going to show up like that, but you did. So I want to say a massive thank you. For the people that don't know what screen test is, I was lucky enough to be a guest on the first 2 episodes of Prime Video's new film podcast, The Screen Test. In the screen test, they discuss, me and a panel of people discuss which is the best movie in that genre. Last week was disaster movies. This week in episode 2, it is sci-fi. So, if you want to see me saying things like,
I would say it's traditionally the fan favourite, Empire Strikes Back.
Hey, you can't trust Star Wars fans for anything. And stupid things like,
I have
Bam,
been
do you relate
with
to Arnie?
Arnie.
I mean, mentally I am Arnie. And trying to make good points like, firstly, the whole idea of Total Recall, like, you know, one does that, it looks at simulation theory, because it's not just them implanting memories, which, by the way, they're literally implanting memories into snails as we speak. So that's, if we're talking about science fiction wins, that's a win right there. We're talking about living on Mars. What does Elon Musk want to do? He wants to set up us living on Mars. Like, everything that this movie does is embedded in science fiction, and it comes from a short story. It's not like a long novel or anything like that. They have still taken extra steps to create this entire world that is completely looking at our current situation and where it could go to, but ultimately getting beaten by Star Wars and The Matrix. I mean, I was never going to win that argument with Total Recall, but I gave it my best. And in my opinion, Total Recall is still one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever. The fact that it's an Arnie film, but also a great sci-fi movie, is exceptional. It might be a bit dated, but I fought the good fight. I did what Arnie would. I went in guns blazing. So if you want to see more of that, then please do click the link in the description. But yes, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody. You've shown so much support, and I'm going to do a little bit of a catch-up. I'm going to talk a little bit about how shooting that was in a COVID climate, which I'm going to talk about right now. It was shot like we were on a Zoom call, but it all comes together and makes it look like we're in one studio. It was very nice to meet everybody. The safety precautions were all in place. We had a test at the start of the day. If that test had come up negative, we would have got sent off. A very good environment to shoot a piece of content in this crazy time, and I think it really comes together to make a great podcasty discussion film show. So I just want to thank Formidable for getting me involved, Formidable Media, but also Prime Video themselves, and massively one more time to the Bamalam for all of your love and support. There's a couple other things I want to talk about, and we're going to move into them now. Yes, this is a BAMABLog. I don't know what else to call them, so I'm going to call it a BAMABLog. I have not been uploading, and I have not been streaming over the past week. Now, there's a couple reasons that I have done this. Firstly, I had sort of like a meltdown when I was playing Sekiro. Not so much the game, but look, as I don't stream as much recently, I think I've hit like a breaking point with streaming. While I am completely aware that most of the time, the people in the chat and people that watch this channel have my best interests involved, there's always a small group of people that are there to antagonize me, and that in itself really does my head in some days. Some days I just want to be able to kick back and have a good time with people, and people want to push me into scenarios or situations or push their own agenda, and it gets to a point where I am really frustrated with it. And there's just some days when you really don't want to have to deal with that, despite the fact that you kind of need to keep streams being consistent and stuff. I'm having a lot of fun with the game Sekiro, but what I didn't have a lot of fun with was people trying to make me skip a couple bosses and go and take on a boss that I wasn't ready for, when there was a simple route to get to the place I needed to get to, with the storyline being as it was. That really got to my head in a point in time where I put out the Amazon show, and I had a great response from people on that. I put up some bars recently.
Shining bright just like a laser, riding by the escalator, up and down like elevator, and I'll be back like Terminator.
No, I'm back like Braun Cocktail Quavers. No, I'm back like Jesus Christ the Savior. If it's back to back, I make it 8 bars. Any track I get 4 wheels like race cars.
I play shot just like Ace from Jamaica. That when I make I get way too major.
Light up the spot like a dot on a radar. Give man a fade without using a razor.
And I had a great reception on that. But there's some sort of frustrating thing about when you make gaming content, everybody wants to prove themselves to be the best gamer, but at the same time derail you and make you look worse than you are. There's this weird sort of like elitism where it's like, oh no, I'm the best here, I'm going to take over the chat, I'm going to take over the comments and let everyone know that I platinum this game, and I'm just not going to care about anyone else. Even to the point where it's like, you're not there to have a chat with the rest of the chat, you're literally just there to look good. And that in itself can be very, very frustrating and tiring. I have streamed near enough every single week from about May in 2020 all the way up to start of January this year. It's a long time, and when you have people that try and infect a situation like that, it can be really wear and tear depending on how your mental state is when you first tackled that. So yes, I've been taking some time off from that. Other than that, my mum's been down for the week. She lives up in the north of England. She's come down this week because it is my birthday tomorrow, 20th of February. I will be 31. I know it's hard looking at me, I'm blessed, but you know what I mean? So I've taken time out to spend time with her. I've been playing a lot of that Valheim game with my friends, and I've just been doing a lot to really chill and take some time out. And as I said a little bit earlier, I've been doing bars again as well. If you don't know what I mean, I've been rapping again, putting stuff up on my social content, you know, like my Twitter, my TikTok, and my Instagram, and my Facebook, all of that kind of stuff. And that has had a great response. And I think that in itself sort of shone a light on how frustrating it can be at times when you're in this realm where it's like, okay, so I made this journey onto PlayStation, which means most of the people watching have completed these games and know them inside out. So on the one side of things, you've got people that want to help you out with it, and on the other side of things, you've got people that want to sort of look down their nose and always treat you like you're a complete new player. It doesn't matter where I get to in a certain game, people will always try and be like, yeah, but you should have done it this way, you should have done it that way, or you should do this, or listen to me, or da-da-da-da-da. When I rap, when I make other pieces of content, no one ever tries to tell me how I should be doing something. It's only in the gaming realm that people get really on your case. And it's like, you know what? There's a load of different ways you can approach something, so it doesn't mean that your way is necessarily right. And that in itself, it's like, look, I look at my channel and I go, well, how have we got this community that's mainly built up around positivity, that's mainly been built around having like discussions. We're meant to love and enjoy these things, but what happens is people come along and they go, oh, here's 30 people I can look better than. And that in itself has really, really got into my mindset recently, and it's really off-putting. It's as simple as that. It gets into my head because ultimately I sit here and I think, well, what is it that makes people have to try and drag people down or push them into a realm in order for them to feel better about themselves, that they'll compromise 30 other people, 50 people, 100 people, whatever it may be in the chat, however many people are watching it, just so they can feel validated? And that in itself has made me really, really step back from my channel completely, because yes, when I used to do battle rap stuff, loads of people would be like, Bamalam shit, he didn't win that battle, whatever. That's subjective opinions. Right? That's fair enough with an art form. But when you're just trying to create a channel that's around having fun and playing games, and you've basically got like that older brother that's always going to be like, no, you're not doing it right. Like that in itself is a very tough mentality to have to deal with. So I took some time out. And from taking time out, I've looked at everything that I want to do with the channel moving forward. Even like with the content that I'm putting out, it's really funny because it's like, if I put out like an opinion piece or something like that's like say it's a reaction or a reaction to news or an opinion piece like that, people will discuss and talk about things like that. If it's a gameplay thing, if it's something that, you know, ultimately that's what the channel is mainly about. It's about these first experiences. I'm meeting a lot of time my own frustration, but also the frustrations of others that don't understand that it's meant to be a sandbox experience. You're meant to allow people to just kick back and experience it for the first time. But it doesn't turn out like that. It really doesn't turn out like that. I didn't know exactly what I was going to say going into this video, but I wanted it to be honest, and I wanted to give people an understanding of where my head is at. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm going to completely cancel the channel. There's too many good influences. There's too many good people that are a part of it for me to give up on it. But at the same time, this is me as a human being saying, stop treating me like a petting zoo. I get enough when I leave my house. I hate going out to clubs and stuff because people are like, oh, can I touch your hair? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Fuck off, right? Like, I'm still a person at the end of the day. I'm still someone that you may be watching through your screen, but what I'm not going to stick around for and take from people anymore is people just trying to completely hijack a situation and be like, this is how it should be done. This is what you should be doing. And the second that you say you don't want that, they leave anyway, because they're not invested in the channel or the person or even the chat and the community. They're invested for their own personal reasons. And that in itself is where I'm getting, as I've said, this conflict of interest, because I'm like, you know what, right? You can go and make your own channel. You can go and make your own content. You can go and stream. You can go and make walkthroughs. You can do all of that. But you don't want to do it because you don't know how the fuck to do it. So instead, what you go and do is you go and find little channels and you go and find people that play these games that you feel superior over, and you go and try and hold that over people's heads. And that mentality in myself is why I'm getting frustrated. That is what kills it for me. That's what takes the passion out of it, because it's not, like, there's times where I ask for advice, there's times where I need that advice, and there's times where I fucking suck at games. I completely get that. But what does my head in, and what's really made me, like, reject my own content and say, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this right now, which is something I'm building anyway, is the fact that people look at it and go, you know what, this is my turn. I'm here to tell you what to do. I'm here to look good to the rest of the chat. I'm here to make it all about myself, you know? And that is what's really, really been disturbing me recently. And it came at a week where it's like, okay, so on the one side of things, it's great. I've got all of these people that are being really supportive, and I've built this great community. And like, look, I understand people can't watch all the streams. People leave comments when they can. There's content that I put up that people aren't going to like and engage with because it just doesn't suit them. That's all completely fine. I get that. I'm not going to be mad because a video didn't get a certain amount of views or not enough people are watching it. But what annoys me, as I'm saying, is people come along and they try and take this small thing that it's not just me building it, it's a community that I've built with people. There's loads of great examples, as I've said, people that come into the chat and they light it up and they make it really fun and enjoyable, and they allow people to escape from their days in the same way that I'm escaping when I'm playing the game. This is something that has been built in the height of a pandemic when people needed escapism, and it's meant to be about that. But for some people, the way that they feel good is literally by controlling every situation they're in. And the more that they can't control something is the more that they get frustrated, and the more they take it out on other people. So when they can't control things in their own life, they come along and they see something and they go, right, I'm going to look good to these 50 people. I'm going to look good to these 30 people, whatever. And you know what that does, and why it's really frustrating me, is it's breaking the community that I'm trying to build. When you dominate a chat like that, all you were doing is not allowing loads of other people to engage in any other way. If you sit there and you just say, this is how you should do it, this is what you got to do, now you do this, do that next, you don't allow anyone else any space in there to come in and say, oh, well, I think this game's going this way, or I wonder what's going to happen next, or talk about anything else, because you are taking that space and making it all your own. And that in itself is what's become really frustrating for me, like legitimately really, really frustrating. I don't want this to be a rant. I want people to understand, because I've had a fair few people comment on other pieces of content as well, which is like really like quite frustrating as well, because it's like, look, whatever happened, but then don't try and like take it to, like, if I post up a video that's got nothing to do with it, and then I get people being like, why did you leave Sekiro, what's wrong with you, etc, what's going on. I've had to delete comments and stuff all this week because of that. It's like, hey, maybe just message me on something else and say, are you all right, etc. But again, all of these things just make it a place where people are just going, you know what, you need to answer to me, I need to know what's going on. You know, no one's ever just like, hey, Bam, are you okay? You know, and there are people that do it, and I really do appreciate them. But I just thought it would be very important for me to discuss this today. I thought it'd be very important for people to know. And on top of that, I don't know about you, but sometimes when like near enough every year, like my birthday is in February, that means we get British winter, which means like seasonal depression kicks in massively. It means that every year that I'm getting older, I worry a lot more about where my life is at and stuff. So that week in which my birthday is approaching, I'm already not in the best of moods. Like, you know what I mean? I've already got a lot rattling around in here. Like, there's a lot going on in here. So then when I meet people just through something that I'm trying to do that's a positive, that derail that, it's tough, because at the end of the day you can't just turn around and tell people to fuck off. And sometimes I do, but you literally can't do that, because it's like people will then just be like, well, I'm not watching, or I'm going to report him, or anything like that. And they treat you like you're meant to be held accountable to some sort of magical standard that then, but they can act however they want. So it's like I'm in this weird place now where it's like, well, how much do I stream per week? What sort of content should I put out that's not going to put me in this place? And that's why I've taken time out. That's why I'm going to continue to take some time out and really think about what it is I want to do. Because at the end of the day, my gameplay stuff, which, you know, for a gaming channel, doesn't get a response a lot of the time. Like, if you look at, like, if I upload something, or a lot of the streams, they're actually some of the lowest viewed content. A lot of the time, the things that people really enjoy are where it's an open platform for them to discuss. And I completely get that's a massive appeal to why people like engage on content anyway. They want to have their say and they want to be a part of it. And I'm completely on board with that because that's how we've built this community. But it's just where it's getting to this sort of I don't know, this difficult place at the moment, you know? And it's tough because it's like it's made gaming feel like a chore. It's made it feel like work when it shouldn't be. And then when I do get working, you know, like a few people are like, this Amazon thing selling out or whatever. It's like, look, my job is a presenter. It's not me selling out just because I didn't put it on my channel because I'm getting paid to make content outside of it. That's how I live. You know what I mean? So yeah, look, I've said what I got to say. I hope you can understand that. I hope maybe moving forward, people are a little bit easier on me because it's not always like easy to stay on top of this and not burn out and feel all of this sort of stuff. But at the other time, you then feel backed into a corner where you can't talk about this in any shape or form because you still get backlash for it. Like, you know, I know there's going to be people that watch this and they're just going to go, well, then don't stream or don't make content or blah, 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 blah. When it's like, you know, it's something that I really enjoy. And a lot of other people are going to say, well, don't let these small group of people put you off or whatever. But that's just how it goes sometimes, you know, like it's easy for humans to take on board the negative as opposed to the positive, and I'm not going to debate that at all. But yeah, like overall, it's just it's where I get stuck is trying to understand why these people engage in that way and why they don't go and do it like in places where it's like, you know, because you can't do it in a stream that's got like 15,000 people watching because your voice won't get heard. So instead you just try and find smaller creators and then kind of make their chat and their situation a lot more like a living hell. And it's difficult. It's literally difficult. I'm coming up to slowly, like, you know, in a few months time I will have been streaming almost a year, and it's had its ups and downs and so on and so forth, but I am really at a breaking point at this point in time, and I just felt like people deserved some level of explanation, at least the people that care. So that's it, really. You know, in summary, there's a massive community here and I'm so thankful for everything we've built up. I'm never not going to be. You've helped me through some really tough times in the past year. You've helped me through when I quit smoking, like just allowing me to have this outlet and talk to people. It's been super helpful. You know, you've partly helped me with my career because things like Amazon and stuff don't come in unless people can see how well you talk to the camera. And if I didn't have my great portfolio of all the interviews and stuff I've done and show a consistency, I wouldn't continue to get work like that. So I'm massively thankful for that. I'm hugely thankful for all of the memberships and donations people have given over all of this time, especially in a time where for some people it may be difficult to do that. And I'm so thankful for that. Fuck YouTube for taking 30% of it, all of that, but it is what it is. And I will not, there's so much that's good here. I said, you know what, once a week moving forward, I'm like, one of the pieces of content I'm going to change is I'm actually going to check in with people, and I'm actually going to do a blog where I talk about things that have been going on in my life. And this is a great way to start it because I just need to get this off of my chest once and for all. And I need people to understand this. And I also need to say it because I'm sure there's a load of people out there that really want to make their own content anyway. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that want to stream and do all of this kind of stuff themselves. And it's a warning. It's something that you need to like understand and learn to process ahead of time, which I didn't. I jumped into it because we went straight from the boom of the reactions into me like, okay, let me try and get into this this whole world of new games and stuff. Let me buy a PS4 and invest in it. And it's a two-way thing, and there's been a whole great group of people that have tried to guide me and help me and push me forward in the positive. But for every one of those, you get a few people that come along and try and detract from that, you know? So it's a difficult thing to deal with. The bars thing, like the rapping thing, it's great to feel like inspired to rap again. It's a huge part of my history. It's a huge part of who I am. I always love writing. I guess it's because I've been frustrated that I write anytime I am frustrated or have a lot on my mind. I write. That's how I like therapize a lot of, that's not a word, but it's therapeutic for me. So that's been very, very helpful, and it's also had a great response, you know. It's pushed up some of my other platforms, like up by like 500 to 600 people now, across the board, like on different, like, you know, my TikTok rocketed up and my Instagram suddenly like moved forward for the first time in ages, and foolishly I fucking got like 133,000 views on my Facebook with that same video, and then I tried to change my Facebook back to the old style of Facebook so I could use the invite them to my page button, and it deleted the video along with every single gaming video I've put up on my Facebook since November. It's just gone. So it's been some ups and downs. Seeing my mum was lovely, you know, spending time with her. It's great because she's got a car, so we can drive places and go for walks and actually engage with real life outside of all of this, which is super helpful. Not doing this every day has been really, really helpful. And yeah, like just overall taking some time out to think about it all has been really helpful as well. It's just, it's bittersweet. This isn't some I'm gonna cancel the channel or anything like that. It's like, yo, I'm just at a point now where it's like, look, I don't know how or why, but trying to engage like the 7,000 plus people that subscribe to this channel and stuff, you know, the momentum's completely slowed up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong ultimately, and I don't know how to push things forward. But then the other side of that is you've got all of that stress on it, added into people that just want to come along and kick over the few sandcastles you got left. So yeah, that's why I took some time out. I hope that's understandable. I hope that makes it like I hope you get it on some level. And as I said, thank you to everyone that's really been supportive. So yeah, that's it. The original part of this video was meant to be like, I did the Amazon show, I started rapping again, and I'm just getting ready for my birthday and things like that. But I had to talk about why I haven't streamed and why this year in general I haven't been streaming much. So I think I've done that. And it's almost like 20 minutes. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's the weekend, you know, take care of yourselves, look out for each other. It turned happy Chinese New Year to everyone that's Chinese out there, you know. It's a new year for you guys as well now. Yeah. That's it. Gonna keep pushing on with content regardless, but I wanted to at least say all of this, you know?